Hello YouTubes, how you doing today? Hope we're having a fantastic day. I'm having a pretty good one myself. Topic today, I just wanted to see if anybody would be interested in these type of videos with a little more discussion on some things rather than always just in the weight room. I kind of wanted to discuss my road to obtaining my goal at the time of 315 pounds in the bench press. I think that's a pretty major milestone. You know, it's something like 1% or something like that of males in the world can bench 315. I know it's more popular inside the gym, of course. I don't know exactly what that percentage is, but at my age at 315 benching at age 52, I'm pretty happy with that, with where I'm at. So I wanted to give you a little kind of background of how I got to that point. I've been doing some thinking. I know I've mentioned how long I've been lifting in a couple videos, and I was just throwing out numbers, but I did sat down and actually jotted down a couple notes and trying to think when I did start. I started lifting in the spring of 2018 at a local Planet Fitness, you know, which I think is great. That's what Planet Fitness is for. As far as weight training, it's a great place to start. If you're more into the cardio, you know, this isn't a video to knock Planet Fitness by any means. It's a great place to be. So I started lifting in the spring of 2018, and I'm sure most of you have been in a Planet Fitness, so you know what kind of equipment is there. They don't really have benches or free weights. So, and I didn't really ever use the Smith machine, so I would do a little bit of dumbbell presses for bench purposes, you know, your standard curls, delt machine, you know, just very, not very knowledgeable at the time on things, not really knowledgeable about workouts. I mean, really just not knowledgeable at all, other than, I guess, just fly by night, whatever I thought was good. Yeah, let's do this, let's do that. No real schedule. Wasn't pushing myself super hard, if I remember correctly, just because I didn't really have set programs or routines. Just one of those deals. So, was there, and then in late summer of 2018, I had started lifting at our new school weight room facility, and when I was actually warming up for the bench press with just 135 on the bar, I remember it was just my fourth rep. My wife was there behind the bar, kind of spotting me, just being around, always trying to be safe. And I was going up for my fourth rep, and my shoulder just kind of popped. Ended up, I tore my rotator cuff. I had been experiencing a little bit of discomfort to that point. There again, I didn't really look into it as far as ways to strengthen that, you know, how to do some hangs, do some bands. You know, there's numerous things that you could do that I do today, but had no knowledge of at the time. So, and even at that time when I was benching, and then when I come back, so I didn't have surgery until January of 2019. So that was a year recovery for that shoulder, because anyone that I talked to that had that type of surgery for the rotator cuff said, do what the doctor says, be patient, do not push it. And I thank each and every one of them, because my shoulder healed to 100%. I feel great. So even to this day, I feel good. So and all they did was reattach it. They didn't do anything else surgery wise, just where it tore, sewed it back up, I guess, for layman terms. So a year from January 2019 puts January 2020. Well, we all know that's when COVID hit. So the school was shut down, so I didn't lift then either. So I didn't really get back into the weight room until, I guess it would be fall of 2019 or fall of 2020, after COVID, once the school opened back up and we had to wear masks in the gym and all that fun stuff that we don't even want to remember, because it was just not a good time for America, or the world, I guess I should say. So then I just started benching, and I was really weary of what might happen with my shoulder benching. So anything that I did, if I was overhead pressing, I mean, I was literally just coming down to like right here to my eyeballs, benching. I was it was like I had 4 blocks of wood under my chest. I was just, I was gun shy. I just did not want to go through that surgery process again. Of course, the doctors are saying, don't lift nothing heavy. Just, you can work out just low weight, do some reps, just more cardio type of lifting. But, after that, I did that for a while. And then luckily, I think right around then is when I first met Ian. And he was great. Information wise, trying to teach me different things, and I was researching on YouTubes and stuff like that, learning, and I'd been through physical therapy, of course, through the shoulder, so I learned different exercises there. But the main thing was, and I don't even remember at this point, I was doing those, not full reps. And I think just at one point I said, you know what, that's it. Because I mean, lifting that way, it took me no time at all to get really to 225. And I just think that's due to my genetics, my size. I mean, at that time I used to be 6'2", now I'm down to like 6'1". There again, good old age. But, and I was probably weighing 240, 245 at that time. So 225 I got to really quick. I mean, with the half rep, or basically, a little more than a half rep. But and I forget what point I got to. I think I was about up to like 265, and then I was like, you know what, this just isn't gonna work anymore. I just didn't feel like I was getting the full benefit. So I just said, that's it. We're gonna start from scratch. I just started out with the bar as stretches, and just would come down and put it on the chest, and just let it sit there for a little bit, a couple seconds, and then push it up. And then I basically started over like I never bench pressed before in my life. So, and it didn't take long till I was up there, a couple weeks of just stretching the muscle out that hasn't been stretched for a long time. So I started working on that, and that was with every exercise. I was doing full range of motion for everything, stretching everything out the way it should be. I didn't care what the weight was at that point, and I took it slow, because there again, I still did not want to end up right back at the beginning again, where I required surgery. So I just stuck with that. And then it was the philosophy on programs. I tried programs that was very long and doing main lifts and accessory lifts. And there was times I was looked down and I was in the gym for 3 hours. Well, I don't really want to be in the gym that long on a daily basis. I mean, I like to live 5 to 6 days max a week. And when you got those super long workouts ahead of you, I just did not really want to go to the gym to do those workouts. So I tried shortening those to where I was just doing the bro lifts, or just one exercise at a time. And I think what I did for a while was I would do chest, and we'll just say these 5 days in a row. Monday would be chests, Tuesday would be back, Wednesday legs, Thursday were bis and tris, and Friday was shoulders. And then that would give me 2 days rest from shoulders onto bench. And I have to admit that that worked really good for me. I did that workout, well, up until we did these, started the Gillingham programs. That's the workout that I was doing. And I think that's a lot of it. As you're trying to reach your goals, you have to try different style workouts to see what's best for you. I would love to say, hey, do it this way, but what works for me might not work for you at all. So, and it might work some, and it might work, but there's something else out there that will work better for you. And it works good for me, but there still yet might be something better that works for me. And that's why I'm trying these Gillingham programs. I wanted to see how they would affect my body. You know, as long as I'm getting recovery time, building strength, feeling good, feeling motivated in the gym. And by these workouts, I would only be in the gym about an hour. So, and that was really good for my personal life too. I could go in, lift heavy, push myself, and then still have time outside to get, you know, daily things done, no matter what it might be. So, you know, an example of my bench workout would be, I'd always, you know, and this was, of course, after warming up, I would do 5 sets of 2, heavy on the barbell bench. So that would be great. Then second exercise, I would go to 3 sets of 8, and this would require using the stabilization muscles. I would do an incline dumbbell, usually at, I don't like the 45, I like 30 degrees. That's what I would use on the bench. And then that would work all the stabilization muscles, still plus getting good motion, and do love using the dumbbells. That's a quicker way to build strength than the straight bar. Third exercise, then I would go to usually 3 sets of 10, which would require the stabilization, and a great stretch to force the blood into the muscle would be the cable fly. There again, this I would usually put the, depending on where I was at, if I didn't have the wide cable machine where you could squeeze and do the fly, I would sit at the corner cable machine, put the bench up to 45 degrees, and use the cables that way. So there again, great stretch, good way to force the blood. And then the fourth exercise, I would do 3 sets of 12 on the pec deck, which on that, you know, on a machine, if you got a good pec deck machine, you're getting that real good stretch. And then finish up on that 12th one, and I would pause and hold for a couple seconds, and then do like 5 half-quarter reps just to really force that blood in. Helps with recovery and building strength. So back to the bench press. I'll never forget, I saw a meme on Facebook where it showed this, basically a drag strip, and it said the road to 225, and then below it the road to 315, and it just looked like a rattlesnake going through. And that couldn't have hit the nail on the head, so to speak, any better, because I got to 225 like nothing. I don't even remember that much being even a goal. But 315 I worked at for, so if I got back in the gym 2021, I mean, a good 2.5 years I worked to get to that 315. There again, trying the different workouts. And then once I got to where I thought I was there, it seemed like when I was trying for that big lift on max out day, for some reason I would get in my head and I just would lose form. I would try and get too fired up to where I would forget my composure to plant my feet, you know, use my hips, get tight, dig them scapulas in, shoulder blades into the bench, get everything tight, take it down and right back up. It was the most frustrating time for me in the gym. And that's all I could say about it. I mean, Ian could really, he laughs about it some, you know, because he'd just be like, you got this, no problem. You know, I'm doing 300 a couple times, and, you know, it just, there was no reason that it should have took me this long. But, and the thing is when I got there, it was, my mom had a spell when she was in the hospital. She spent almost a week almost in the ER. That's, you know, just when I won't get into that, but, you know, because everybody has those situations, unfortunately. And this was, she went in the hospital like on a Monday, and it was Friday night, and where she was at was over an hour away with traffic. It, you know, sometimes took 2 hours to get from there to home or home to there, depending on time of day and what was going on. But it was a late Friday night. Wife and I were on our way home, and you know, I just had a lot going on in my head, and I said, well, let's go to the gym. Let's get some aggression out. Need some stress relief. And thing was, I didn't even know what I felt at the time, but when I started warming up, I was like, wow, I feel good. So I threw 315 on, and here I go. Once again, I was thinking I'm not going to be able to get this, and I brought it down, and that thing just went straight up, and then I brought it back down thinking this couldn't have been a max, and I was going to try it again, but well, I put the arms out for safety because I would never bench that kind of weight with just my wife there spotting me, because she wouldn't be able to do a whole lot if something really went wrong. So I had the arms out, and then I just pressed that baby up, and then I just went back down for my second one, and I just started laughing, and I just set it on the arms because I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, well, I might as well try 320 one time, because I knew I expended a lot of energy, and once you meet that goal that you've been shooting for, it not only physically drains you, but mentally I was exhausted. So I was like, well, hey, let's try it. So I put the 320 on, and it's somewhere on the channel getting that 320. You know, it was one where I got it to that sticking point, and then it kind of went up and then kind of started to go down, and I was like, nope. And I just dug in and got it up and could not believe it. I mean, that was, like I said, that was a good 2.5 years that I had worked for that goal. And one of the main things that I attribute to that is one of my favorite sayings that I hear and I use often is discipline over motivation. You cannot try and set a goal and expect it to happen overnight, especially with lifting weights. I mean, I've heard some professionals that in a certain exercise like bench, you want to improve 32, shoot for 32 pounds a year, 32, 33 pounds a year. So then over a 3-year period, you've improved 100 pounds. And that's realistic. Those are realistic goals. You can't set goals. For me, now I've benched 335. I can't sit there and say my next goal is 500. I mean, that's just unrealistic for me at this point. I mean, at least that's the way I feel. You're better off setting those goals, shorter goals, more short-term goals to reach them, than you see that you're getting where you want to be. You know, so for me, the next bench goal would just be 350. You know, and then from 350, then obviously if I get there, it would be to 405, you know, because then it's 4 big wheels. I mean, that'd be insane. I can't even fathom getting that kind of weight, excuse me, at this point in my life. And realistically, to add another 70 pounds, we're talking at least a couple more years, 2.5 more years, if I stuck with that 30-some pounds a year to get there. And that's just realistic. So I would rather, and you know, maybe once I get to 350, I won't say 405. Maybe I'll say, well, I got to get to 375 now. And I think some of that, it just depends on who you are and how you like to push yourself. What motivates you to get you where you need to be. But like, yeah, the main thing is you just have to keep at it. You got to keep going to that gym. There are days that you can't get there, and no, it's not the end of the world. You're not going to lose all of your gains if you need to take 1 or 2 days off. If you have the flu, you got a fever. I'm sure anybody else in the gym would rather you stayed home if you had a fever. They don't want you going in there and touching and sweating and getting it, spreading whatever you have to everybody in the gym. So it's just a thing that if you set your mind to it and you work at it on a daily basis, you will achieve your goal. And I'm hoping that by watching our videos, they will help inspire you to work hard and get better at whatever it is your goals are, to be a better you in 2024, because we definitely need nicer, more thoughtful people in this world at this time. Lots of evil, just a lot of things negative going on. Don't be that person. Be the one that's going to lift somebody up today, not the one that's just going to bring people down for no reason. So I don't know how much this may or may not have helped on the road to 315 and how to get there. Just a little backstory on how I think that I got there. Just a lot of sweat, a lot of work, trial and error, listening to my body to make sure I'm not overdoing it. Get that recovery time that you need. And the main thing is just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep digging. That's my motto. Keep digging and you will soon get there. I weigh myself every day, and you know, that's not a true scale of your success, but I enter it in my phone because then I like to see where I'm going. It motivates me. Every time when I wake up, I look at that scale and I'm saying, good, I'm doing it. You know, I'm losing the weight, because that's kind of my goal right now. So we're going to stick with it. I want to thank you all for watching the channel. Please make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, click that notification bell, and as always, keep digging. Boom.